Nation, really appreciate everybody for tuning in. We're going to go over the situation with Dak Prescott signing the franchise tag. I know. I hear a lot of people that's upset. I hear a lot of people that's mad and angry, and rightfully so. You know, you look at what the quarterback done in the last 4 years, you can say, well, it's not spectacular, right? It's not spectacular to a degree where you can say, man, we won multiple Super Bowls. No, it's not that. But the collective situation of Dak Prescott playing for the Dallas Cowboys has been solid, right? It's been solid. Now, here's the cons, and I will break down the pros. The con of signing the franchise tag or playing under the franchise tag is $31 million against the cap. 31 million against the cap, and of course the distractions. Every single game or every single day we will be hearing, or the outside noise will be louder than ever, right? So you will have to understand that that is a lot to go on in the lands of the Dallas Cowboys. That's just how it goes. Now, the actual pros of it, for those who are really like anti-Dak, at least you can see 1 year under Mike McCarthy, and if things don't work out the way you would like, then maybe, just maybe, the coach will say, hey, we can move on from him. Or the Dallas Cowboys can look at it and say, well, he didn't live up to our expectations. Remember this, everyone have a reason, but results are what matter. Let me repeat, you might want to write this down. Everyone have a reason, but results are what matter. And if he's not able to deliver the results, then this can happen. Trade, letting him walk, or a possibility of let me see this again and slapping the franchise tag on him again. That could be the situations. Now, moving forward, we can really look towards this season because everybody is signed under contract. I believe everybody is signed under contract, right? We don't have to worry about waiting for somebody else to be this or be that. Now, we can say last year the offense was great. The number one offense in the NFL. I do know that a lot of people are going to spit out the narrative talk and say, well, it was all during garbage time. All of those yards, all of those massive yards were during garbage time. Like the Dallas Cowboys were the only team in the history of the NFL to calculate or accumulate yards during garbage time. It's quite funny and strange to me. If that's the case and if that's the scenario, how come all of the other teams that's kind of like 8-8 and below 8-8, how come they don't accumulate massive garbage time? Y'all put that down in the comment box. Explain to me why the Dallas Cowboys are the only team that play in a trash division, the only team that can accumulate garbage time numbers. And I know that the outside noise is always loud, right? And it's hard to drain it out. And it's hard to really stay focused on your main goal when you have the owner who gets out there and he spits a lot. And I'm talking about so much you need to have an umbrella because he spit a lot of stupid stuff and he spit some good stuff at time. But the owner loved the spotlight, and that is what we've been up against for many of years, right? So if we think about it, even Ezekiel Elliott, he's upset with the media. He's mad about probably the Madden rating. He's telling everybody, hey, I am one of the best running backs in the league. You don't have to denigrate me or put me down to elevate someone else. Now, there's only a short list when you start looking at the running backs that's ahead of him. So I can feel what he's coming from. We do know that he was railroaded in 2017, an innocent man really going through all of that crazy stuff that Roger Goodell put him through. I digress. When we look at this particular team, the Dallas Cowboys, we will forever be in the news. We'll forever be in the media. We'll forever have multiple conversational pieces as it relates to the Dallas Cowboys. Remember, the Kansas City Chiefs quarterback just signed a $500 million deal. And all throughout social media, all throughout the NFL networks and ESPN and beyond, they're not talking about that on a day-to-day basis. They're talking about how Dak Prescott contract will be affected by it, or how Dak Prescott camp was trying to get that type of money. all of the narratives. I've heard earlier that Colin Cowherd said, hey, Dak Prescott pretty much had everything a person could want. Let me repeat, Dak Prescott had everything a person could want, and you don't get everything. Pretty much he was saying that Dak Prescott got a silver spoon in his mouth and he didn't deliver, or he couldn't perform up to the levels that he's supposed to. And he started just naming all of these other quarterbacks and all of these other teams. And I'm sitting there saying, we still had Jason Garrett, no matter how you look at it. Look, for those who out there who have kids, right? Let's say you have a child that's 13 to maybe, I would say 8 years old. You can have a Ferrari, you can have a Maserati, but if you hand him or her those keys, regardless of how you think that they should have everything they want, they're not going to appreciate, they're not going to drive that Maserati, that Ferrari, the way it's supposed to be or way it's meant to be, because they don't have the level of knowledge and experience, and they don't have the mindset or the intellect. And I'm not calling Jason Garrett intellectually challenged, but what I'm saying is that we know for sure by Jason Garrett going into the Dallas Cowboys or coaching the Dallas Cowboys, he didn't have the experience. He was on the training as it relates to coaching. And we've seen less than 3 years ago, less than 4 years ago, he said that we had to learn from it. We had to learn from this situation, even on situational downs and situational football. I'm telling you guys, I know it's not me hating on Jason Garrett, because I think that even Jason Garrett had his hand behind his back due to Jerry Wayne Jones. And I told a lot of people before that Jerry Jones' success made it a major point or a major part of his failure. Lord, where are you coming from with this? Well, back in 1994 and 95, that whole era, you guys remember they brought in this coach called Barry Switzer, and he was a coach that pretty much came from the collegiate era, but he was able to win with Jimmy Johnson people. But Jerry had the mindset and the thought track of saying, hey, we won a Super Bowl. And if I can do it with, Jimmy Johnson, then I can do it with anybody. And then what happened was, as soon as he gave Jimmy Johnson the boot, he brought in Barry, and Barry Switzer was able to win the Super Bowl. The first year Barry Switzer coached this particular Dallas Cowboys team, they didn't go 10-6. They didn't go 11-5. They didn't go 8-8. They went 12-4. Got knocked out by the 49ers. That's still pass interference. You guys know how I feel about that. But the following year, they won the Super Bowl. Sometimes your success can be your failure, because what Jerry Wayne Jones thought that what he did was the right way, was the right move, was the right groove. And all of the players were sitting there saying, no, we had to really coach this team. We had to put people or hold people accountable, to their situations. And although, the teams in the 90s was different, no social media, no this and no that, boy, we can only imagine. And fast forwarding to present day, we just went through a situation with Jason Garrett for 13 years. 3 of the years being an offensive coordinator, or 2.5 years, and then a collective 10 years of being the head coach of this Dallas Cowboys team with 0 experiences. Had to learn on the fly and soiled and sullied the growth factor of Tony Romo. And a lot of people thought that, hey, Jason Garrett was the reason why Tony Romo was Tony Romo. No, that was Sean Payton's guy. And I want to go back to this talk track right here for everybody that can listen to what I'm saying. We got Tony Romo by chance. Let me repeat, we got Tony Romo by chance. It was a stroke of the luck that Quincy Carter had a situation or a setback. Stroke of the luck that we finally got a quarterback. When we inserted Tony Romo, yes, it was a lot of growing pains. But it took Drew Bledsoe to wet the bed before we was able to get Tony Romo into the game. It took the brains and the brilliancy of Bill Parcells to say, hey, Do not anoint this guy so quick. Do not put the crown on Tony Romo right now, but give him time to develop. Because if I showcase him, I know what I got a little bit in him. But if I showcased him, maybe another team would say they can see the talent. But it was Sean Payton that worked out with Tony Romo. Fast forwarding to the way we got Dakota Prescott. It was by chance. It wasn't mathematically thought out. It wasn't, okay, we drafted this guy to start. We drafted this guy to be the end-all, be-all. And to go all the way back, the last time we drafted a quarterback in the first round, regardless of what I'm talking about, I think it wasn't even in the 90s. It was in 1989. Is that the year Troy Aikman was drafted? I could be wrong. But it wasn't even in the 90s. It's the year 2020. That's the last time we had a chance and opportunity, I guess, to get, a supreme good quarterback, basically. Outside of the ramifications of moving up some draft picks and getting a quarterback from there, I guess, when we went 5-11 multiple times. Don't forget the 4-12 we went and got in Ezekiel Elliott. Why did we get Ezekiel Elliott? To match up with Tony Romo. You see, the first year the Dallas Cowboys played Dak Prescott in 2016 had no dealings with Dak Prescott. Everything was catered to Tony Romo. And like I said, it was by chance that we got a chance to see Dak Prescott because he was never thought to be the quarterback. Now, moving towards this year, the year 2020, yes, we have a new coach. Yes, we have a new staff. Yes, the continuity with the staff may not be all together. Yes, the continuity with the players may not be all together. But one thing that I can look at and say to myself, the offense, they was top ranked last year for a reason. They had some warts, Kellen Moore first time calling the offensive plays and things like that. We saw, whereas, of course, people going to throw out this stat and say, well, the Dallas Cowboys were 1-7 against playoff teams. The Dallas Cowboys were this and that because of Dak Prescott. And nobody took into consideration that it was the first year or first time offensive coordinator calling the shots. First time ever doing all of this stuff. Learning on the fly. And on top of that, the defense never played up to par. In multiple of the games that we did lose, and I'm not trying to say this thing until I'm blue in the face, or Cowboys blue in the face. Most of the games that we lost, we gotta contribute that to the coaching staff. I know people gonna say, nah, Law, you reaching. But if you look back at that Saints game, Dak Prescott had no dealings with Jason Witten playing basketball with the football, fumbling that ball. He had no recourse of saying, okay, let's not put Tony Pollard in there. Oh, the Ezekiel Elliott fumble, elbow imprinted into the ground. That wasn't Dak Prescott's fault. The kicker not being able to execute the special team play. Let me go back and go talk about this too. The Patriots game that everybody said that, okay, in the monsoon. And all of this is going into preparations. It's better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. All that week in Dallas, perfect soup as it relates to the weather that is going to be like in Boston when we went up there. The perfect soup. What you talking about, Law? Well, this soup in Dallas that week had rain, treacherous rain. It was cold that week. I mean, it was crazy. It was like a monsoon atmosphere for that entire week. The Dallas Cowboys, newsflash, didn't play at all. Didn't play at all or practice at all out there in the elements. They said, let's go inside, right? Let's get our situation ready. I digress. Also in that game, 2 tripping calls. Phantom at that. Like Phantom of the Opera. Oh, a critical punt block that put Tom Brady right there in the money zone. A Byron Jones taking a nap on a play and allowing a rookie to take his lunch money. On top of that, in a pivotal situation, yes, Dak Prescott threw the interception. But on a key down, a third down play, your boy, Jason Witten, old reliable, want to play volleyball with the football. Man, I can go back on the games that we lost against playoff teams and say, yeah, you can put it all on the quarterback because he get all of the blame when we lose, and he gets all the credit when we win, and that's not fair, right? But we also got to bring up the fact that the coaching staff was not, how can I put this? The coaching staff was not prepared enough, or they didn't use advanced analytics enough, basically. And I saw a stat out there where they said on the, I guess, the 4-letter and the 3-letter network that Ezekiel Elliott complaining about his rushing situation. And he had more yards on first down than any other running back in the NFL since 2016 to now. And pretty much, if you look at 2019, he had more rushing yards from the first down than any other running back. But also within that, his numbers from those rushing yards were the lowest, meaning that the average attempt were the lowest, like it was like 2.5 or 3, whatever it may be. I come here to tell you guys that out of all of those rushing plays, I guarantee you those who watching me and listening in to me right now could call out the play and say, yeah, they finna run it on first down. It was no illusion. It was no imagination. It was none of that stuff. Everybody, mama, uncle, cousin knew that the Dallas Cowboys going to run on first down. And every blue moon, the Cowboys, literally a blue moon, the Cowboys would pass out of that or open it up with a play action. And they would win. The Cowboys, when they were doing the play action, when they were doing all of this exotic stuff, we were winning. But when we sat there and said, okay, this game plan we had for the Saints, this is the game plan we're going to utilize what we did against Miami. But when we played against the Saints, let's scrap it because we didn't start off the way we wanted. That's Jason Garrett, baby. And I'm not trying to put Jason Garrett in front of the bus or throw him under the bus like most people would say. But you got to plan in life. You got to prepare your team to be ready. You got to be aware. You got to be cognitive of all of the analytics. You got to be able to put your team in the right and proper positions. When you know for sure that the Minnesota Vikings is shutting down the run, shutting it down, and you got your quarterback who everybody said that he's not a superior quarterback, basically, or he's an inferior quarterback, right? But he's throwing that rock all over the field. Everybody eating. Why would you try to run it into the teeth of the defense when you're not running the ball? And then when you get out there to the monsoon against the Patriots, you got Ezekiel Elliott averaging 5.5 yards per carry. And you say, let's throw it in the monsoon. It does not make sense. And even when we talk about the Jets game, you have your left tackle out, your right tackle out, Amari Cooper, Gimpy. You have all of these situations. Oh, Amari Cooper, he's out as well. Michael Gallup just now coming back from his microscopic knee surgery. You had all of these elements going against you. You playing in the foreign territory, on the road. It's a close game by chance when you got it getting close because they started off whooping all butt, but you got it close or what have you. And you still lose? Why did we lose? Is it all on the heaviest the crown of the quarterback? Yes. But is it all on the quarterback? When the moment you get down into the money zone, red zone, green zone, they call PI on Cedric Wilson. That we seen that play happen numerous of times. And that was a touchdown that Jason Witten was able to catch. But they take that off the field. How many points we lost to that Jets game from? I want to know. But somehow, these are pivotal games, and these are all Dak Prescott's fault. But I think that most of the people need to look at both sides of the coin. I'm not saying that Dak Prescott is the end-all, be-all. But what I'm saying is with the Dallas Cowboys and what they did and how they handled the situation, there was some love in that, because you gave the guy the exclusive of the exclusive franchise tag, the Cadillac version, as Mike Florio would say. If you didn't have that type of love for him, why hold his feet like that to the fire? Or I didn't allow this brother to go out there and test the market. You see, if I were to do that, if I didn't have the love and adulation for Dak, I would let him test the market. That would be the wisest thing, and see what I can get in return. I will put a tender and see which team, because I've seen a Laramie Tunsil or something like that from Miami to go to the Texans. The Texans gave him 2 first-round draft picks for him. I seen a Jalen Ramsey trade acquisition, 2 first-round or something like that. So I know you can will and deal, and then we could be moving on from this situation. But there's some love and there's some adulations for Dak Prescott. But you try to get coy with it. You try to say this, deadline makes deals. And then when the deadline comes, you flatline. It's playing with fire. You get burned with it. Oh, buddy, I can go on and on about this, but this is 2020, new season, new flavor, new coaching staff. The price of Dak Prescott just went up. We understand that. And majority of the people that don't understand is not mad that he didn't get a long-term contract. We're mad and upset because we can look at the possibilities of having more money when you sign somebody for a long term to go out there and get more resources. Everyone have a reason, but results are what matter. And as of lately, we have not been getting the results, regardless of how we look at it, regardless of whether or not you point the finger at the quarterback, the coaching staff, the players that's on this team outside of the quarterback. We have not been getting our results that we want. Now everything is pointed at Jerry Wayne, and you can throw Steven in there. So what we gonna do? So Mike McCarthy now to elevate, motivate, get these players in the right mindset. I do know that we're in a COVID situation. I want you guys to stay healthy out there, eat right, drink plenty of water, do what you can do to survive. Pray and keep this thing going in the best way possible. If you like what you heard today, hit that like button, share this content. Let a friend, neighbor, foe know where to go when they want to tune in to Cowboys Sports Talk and Beyond. My name is Law Nation, LAW Nation. This information will be throughout multiple platforms. So if you see me there, hit me up, jump into my inboxes, man, and post me your thoughts and concerns. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. May God bless. Salute. We're out. Peace.